So if you want to play at the highest level, whether it's playing Division I hockey, whether it's playing like major junior hockey, whether it's playing high level professional, scouts are going to be a big part of your life. They're going to be the ones who look at you, whether it's a coach, whether it's a designated scout. People are going to come and look and see what type of player you are. They're going to judge you. And I see so many players make the mistake of thinking that scouts just want to see points. They just want to see that you whatever, have some skill and you're pretty good, and they think they can make you into a great player. You hear these very broad statements, and then it just gets turned into cliches. Cliches don't really help you unless you have a true deep understanding. And so my name is Corson Searles. I'm a mental and performance coach. I help hockey players get to the next level, whether it's going from minor to junior, junior to college, or college to pro. And what I want to help you with today is to be able to actually understand what the 13 key pillars are that scouts look at and look for when they're picking players that are going to play for their team. And so we're going to get straight into it here. And so the first thing that you want to think about is that you want to be highly skilled. Now, this is extremely normal to hear. Everybody talks about this. But one of the key nuances is to realize that you want to have core skills that stand out, and we call these pillar skills or separator skills. And then you want to have skills that are constantly being removed from being a weakness. Because a lot of times it's not how strong the chain is overall, it's the weakest link in the chain that will hold you back and cause the chain to break. So if you're trying to get to the next level, it's not necessarily your average that's going to get you there. It's what is the level of the weakest skill that you have. Because if your skating is basically at a junior level, but you want to play college, well, it's going to hold you back when you try to make that jump. If your hockey IQ is held up, it's going to hold you back, right? So whatever the weakest thing is, and it actually applies to really this entire area, is whatever it is, whether it's, and just looking at the visual here, whether it's high skill, or whether it's skills that are the issue, whether it's athletic ability, whether it's hockey IQ, criminal record, whether it's you don't have a lot of points, whether it's a breakout year, you never really had that breakout year, big point year, if you haven't had a role that you fill and you're not clear on what role you can play at a high level, if you don't have the deep obsession mindset, if you don't have a deep competitive desire to get better and to win, if you're just not a good person, it's going to hurt you. Good teammate, good student, or your injury history is holding you back. See, this is the thing, is people don't consider that if you're really trying to be great, you're going to be held up by those weak points. And so pay attention to that when it comes to the skill. Now, the second area you want to think about is, and we'll cross it off as we go, is thinking about athletic ability. So athletic ability now is a little different than just saying your overall skill, because athleticism is more so what is your physical capacity? Are you very strong? Do you have great cardio? Are you very fast and explosive? Do you have good coordination? These are things that people look at because these are kind of raw material that can be transferred into skills. They can be leveraged. So scouts are going to look at that and say, okay, well, if he has, we'll erase these just to get these out of the way. But they'll say typically it's like, okay, so he has high skill. Does he have that athletic raw material that we can also leverage to create more skill? If that's the case, boom. Awesome. Okay. Now, does he have high IQ? Now, when it comes to high IQ, the question you want to ask is, are you able to make high quality decisions? And are you adaptable and able to make reads and say, okay, this is a different situation, and you have these core principles that you're able to make good decisions off of? Now, you can work on these things and you can improve on it. And that's the thing, is that's why I work with guys in our next level programs to help them understand that you're not trapped with the IQ you have. You're not trapped with the skill you have. You're not trapped with the athletic ability you have. You just need to have the right plan in place and then either have an expert work with you, or you need to execute on a plan that's been given to you and put it into motion. And then if it needs to be improved, you go to somebody who can help you tweak it and make it better, right? So if you want to have high IQ, you got to actually do the work and go into those detailed areas in terms of studying game film. You want to go and look at your games. You want to look at better player games like, NHL or whatever leagues are above you. You want to study other players in your league, other players on your team that make it work, and understand what is it that other people do that works and doesn't work, and look to see what you can add or remove from your game. There's a deep process to this, but really understanding hockey IQ is key. And at the end of the day, these top 3 skills, when it comes to hockey or high skill, athletic ability, and IQ, you will be judged very, very strongly on these top 3 by scouts. If these 3 suck, you're probably not going to go where you want to go. But if you do have those things dialed in, then that can make a huge difference. Now, when it comes to these bottom 10 skills, you want to realize that these bottom 10 skills are where we start to look and understand that, okay, as much as we might have these top 3, they are going to really drag you along if everything else is lower. But if you rank all of these on a scale of out of 100, right, and you go through each of these and you say, where do I rank? If you're, 100 out of 100 on the top 3, it might make up for these other ones. But a lot of guys aren't in that place if they're not the best of the best in terms of skill, athletic ability, and hockey IQ. So then the next place you want to look is, well, can I separate myself by being a great fit in other ways? So do you have a criminal record? If you can avoid that, that is a huge thing. That if you are just known as somebody that is a risk and just not somebody that's going to help the organization, well, they're probably not going to want to commit to you or draft you or give you an opportunity because you may hurt the reputation of the team. So that's a key place to look. Another place is, well, have you had high career points overall? Have you consistently put up points over your entire career up to this point? If you've done that, that's a huge bonus because they can say this player is consistent. And if they're ramping up, that's even better, right? So ideally, your skill set is more so moving like this, right? And it's more on this upward trajectory. And if they see that, or even if they just see it's this consistent trending up, that means they can make that investment because they're guessing, okay, this trend is probably going to continue. If you're here, they're guessing it's probably going to continue to here, and they can make that guess. Another area to consider is, did you have a big breakout year? So maybe your points were more like this, right? Maybe you were kind of wavering, and then all of a sudden you just had this big breakout year, and it suggests that you have that potential to have another breakout year and really just take your skills and your ability to the moon. And if they see that as a projection, that can make a big difference. And when I've talked to NHL scouts, college scouts, junior scouts, that's typically kind of the angle you're going to see from these people, is that they want to see what they can project you as. And if they see a big breakout year, it shows, okay, cool. That's proof that they did that once. Let's do it again. Next thing, do you fit a role on a team? So coaches are typically going to look at a few different things here. The first thing they're going to look at is your archetype. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right. I think that's right. So you have archetype, and then you have your main ability. So ability plus, so ability 1, ability 2. And then the third thing they look at, and this is key to realize, is they're not only looking at those spaces, but then they also consider what is your role potential. And the reason that this is key is because when you look at your archetype, they're going to say, hey, he is a power forward with great skating and great hockey IQ with the ability to play top 6 minutes. Right? Now, when they identify you that, so we'll say power forward, just ripping through this here, right? He's a power forward with great skating, with high IQ, and top 6 style. You could even say it more like that. So now they're going to put you in this box, and this would be your player identity in the external world. Consider that that is what they're looking for. They want to say, this is the certain type of player we need moving forward. We have a high skilled playmaker. We have a solid IQ forward who can play more of a slow down game. We need somebody who has high quality skating, high IQ, top six style, and plays that power forward role. Teams are putting together a chess piece set, and you want to be a really good chess piece for them. So again, you might think, I don't think I'm going to be good enough. I don't know if I'm going to be able to crack that D1 level. But if you can fulfill an identity or a role on a team and show you can do that, and you have a high potential to be able to cover all these areas, they might give you a shot. So work hard and don't give up, because that stuff may play out in the end. Now, the next piece, number 8, is do you have a deep obsession with the game? This is huge in terms of mindset, because a lot of times players don't realize mindset is something that scouts will pay attention to and ask, well, does he have that obsessed mindset? Is he always trying to get better? Because they can take that and trust that you're going to continue to be obsessed and push yourself. They can trust that you're going to get better just by nature of how hard you push yourself. So if you're obsessed, they know that you're going to be that guy in the future, a better investment for them. Next, do you have a deep competitive desire? All of the best players to ever play any sport had a deep competitive desire. It is the one commonality you'll see with every single great player of any kind. And so you want to make sure that you have that and you really nurture that competitive nature, because that will make you a difference maker on any team, because you'll push everybody to want to win. That's every team's goal, is to win. So if you can help your team do that and your coach knows that you're going to be that type of person for them, that's what they want. Next, this is one of the very underrated skills or pillars that people don't realize. Scouts will do their homework. They will check out everything about your life and understand, hey, we're making an investment in potentially a multi-million-dollar player here. We want to make sure that they are going to be the right kind of person for our organization. So you may have the top 3 skills, and these might be very high, right? You may have extremely high, right, skill, athletic ability, and high IQ. But if it's not the best of the best and you are not a great person, it's going to hold you back. If you're, not well liked around the community, if you just aren't really kind, if you've bullied people, we've seen that happen with multiple people. If you've just done negative things, they don't like that. So pay attention to that and really ask yourself, is it beneficial to continue down a negative path? And know that it will hurt your hockey career if the other things above it are not extremely high. And even so, why bother? It's just not logical. Now, the next thing is, are you a good teammate? Do teammates have good things to say about you? If a scout was to go and ask your teammates right now, what kind of player are you? What kind of person are you? What would they say? Pay attention to what that would be, and you know in your heart what they're going to say. And so look to be that person who's a good leader, who's a kind person, who helps your teammates, who works hard, who pushes everybody. Be that kind of guy, and again, it's going to boost and separate you, because sometimes you may be equal with another player that a team is looking at, but if you're known as a really good teammate who boosts morale and makes your team better, well, they're going to pick you over that guy who doesn't have that ability. So don't be the negative teammate. Don't be the one who hurts your team. Be the one who makes your team better. That's a huge asset. Be a good student. But just studying this concept recently, when you're thinking about what it takes to be a great player, realize that good students actually boost especially a college team, in terms of the school wants their athletics to look good education-wise. And so if you have good, basically like academic scores and your academic record is really good, they can trust that, okay, awesome, we're going to bring this guy in. His SAT scores are going to boost us. We can trust that he's going to get good grades and boost our overall GPA, and he's going to make us better. So again, if a player is equal to you but has really poor grades and you have great grades, you will make it every single time, because it's a good asset to have for the team to have guys who boost the GPA, boost the SAT scores. It just makes the school look better overall. And they know they don't have to worry about you, that you're going to fail out, because college can be hard. So it's important to watch for that. And then finally, the last thing that I recently added is the idea of injury history. Do you have an injury history? Pay attention to this and realize that if you do, you got to fix it, and you got to show a positive trend so that the last couple years you're not getting hurt all the time. it is going to hurt you if you have all the ability, but you keep getting hurt and missing a significant portion of every year. It's a huge risk for a team to make a financial investment in you, to hold a spot for you, to do all this work to look at you if you just keep getting hurt. So be better. Go to physiotherapists, work with a physical trainer, do the work at home, go online and learn from different programs. ATG is a great place to look for that. I know Mason Hackle's been doing a great job in working with ATG to make like hockey programs. So pay attention to that and go and do the work to make sure you don't get hurt, because it becomes a huge bottleneck to your ability to get to the next level if you're lacking that. So that's what it comes down to. It comes down to all of these things. And let me erase these things out of the way so that you can actually just see what I talked about here. So it comes down to, number one, do you have high skill? Do you have great high athletic ability? Do you have high IQ? Do you have a good record? And obviously you don't want to have a criminal record. Do you have high career point totals overall, and is your average good? Have you had big point breakout years? If not, it's not at the end of the world, but it will help you. Notice how I didn't put those two at the top. A lot of people think that's all it is, but it's about the potential you have and the career points coming together. So when you have the high IQ, you have great athletic ability, your skill's high, and the point totals are there, you are going to, like with those top 5, that will be a huge driver. But then if you're equal with somebody, the other ones come into play. These other 8 now become important. Now you want to ask, do I fit a certain role? What is my role? What is my identity? And understand that, because teams are going to be looking for certain things, right? And so ask yourself, what are those things for you, and how can I be the best at that? So how can I be the best chess piece, and not try to be every chess piece, but be one and be very clear on how good you are at that. Don't start doing it when you're young, but start it early, or start it later on, more so when you get to junior, or maybe even at 14, 15, 16. You want to start to understand that a little bit more. And that's a deeper conversation we're not going to get into today with development. Then you want to have those mindset core pieces. There's also confidence, there's focus, there is how you see yourself, there's how you treat others in terms of just like your overall off-ice confidence. There's a lot to that, and that's the basis of a lot of the programs we do. But ultimately, obsession is number one, going to be huge, and competitiveness. Make sure you work on those and build those. If you need help with that, feel free to apply to work with us. But if not, go and do the work, and I will also be making some free videos soon about those. Next thing, are you a good person? You want to make sure that you actually are a good person consistently in the world, because that is an asset to a team. I know it sounds silly, but it is very important. Next thing is, are you a good teammate? Same thing. Do you help your team? Do you make your team better? Are you a good leader? Are you a good student? Are you going to boost the education and the grades for everybody? And then what about your injury history? Are you fixing your body and making sure you're bulletproof? Work on those things and watch yourself get to the next level in a few years. I'll talk to you guys soon, and make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this.